What's good, people? Hope you are well. Welcome back to the show. We're going to be talking all things transfers tonight, and to do that with, I have Mo. How you doing, bruv?
I'm all right. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Great
Always,
talk, of
man.
course, coming up.
Always welcome. You know that. Dan United is back. What are you telling me, bro?
Another day, another Man United fuck up. What more do you want from me?
We're going to get into that, man. We're going to get into that. LB, what you saying?
Chilling, man, chilling. I'm just getting excited for the league to start, bro. You know what I mean? It's been a long month or so without football, and yeah, man, I've felt it, man. So I'm buzzing that it's back. Pre-season's getting me gassed, to be honest with you. I'm loving it.
Yeah, man. Football is back, mate. And Billy, what are you telling me?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Feeling like LB, to be honest with you. I can't wait for the season to start.
Yeah, same, man. It's got to that time now, hasn't it? And it will be here pretty soon. Listen, Dan, I'm going to start with you, my friend, because Harry Maguire, Manchester United have rejected £20 million bid from West Ham. And from what I can see from David Ornstein, he's saying that West Ham might not even go back in because Man United are asking for way too much. There's rumours that they want sort of close to 40 million or whatever it be for Harry Maguire. Talk to me. What's your thoughts, man?
Well, like I said off air, it's laughable. I still think he goes to West Ham. I think West Ham have tried to go in and say 20 million, take it or leave it. They're obviously interested, or else they wouldn't have got him into 20. I personally think he'll go for 30. Whether or not he's worth 30 is another question. Obviously, we've got Sir Johnny Evans back to take over the Phil Jones role, which is brilliant. Man United, didn't we? You know, we come off a really good season, I think, to go and sign a 36-year-old centre-back on a free, winning. It's a strange one. Harry Maguire, for me, I'd like to think Southgate's had a chat with him and said, you need to be playing regular football this season for the Euros, but we all know what Gareth Southgate's like. Gareth Southgate will pick Harry Maguire if he's lost a leg, half an arm, and has got the original Ronaldo haircut. He'll play him no matter what. In an ideal world, I'd like to hope that conversation will happen where he'll say, Harry, you've got to be playing regular football this season. And yeah, it's one of them. I do think West Ham will come back in. I do think United should have accepted the 20 million bid, because let's not just forget here, it's not just the 20 million. I'm not bothered about that. It's the wages as well, because he's on monstrous wages at Manchester United. He's on like 200 grand a week. Get him off the payroll. You know, we're bringing Rasmus Hojlund in and potentially Amrabat, and I think their combined wages is going to be like 125 grand a week for the both of them. It's about saving that money. So yeah, it's disheartening. But look, it's 28th of July. West Ham haven't made any massive signings just yet. They're going to go back in. I can't see him not going back in, but I don't think we'll get the 40 that United are hoping for.
I think it'd be a top signing for West Ham. I can't lie.
I agree, LB. I'm not saying he's bad. You know, it's just not worked for him at Manchester United. And we've seen this in so many occasions where players have gone to bigger clubs than where they are before, and sadly, it's just not worked out. He doesn't fit the style of play, and I got to be honest, it terrifies me the thought of Onana bringing that ball out of defence and using one at Harry Maguire. It terrifies me. This isn't being disrespectful to West Ham, but I think that is probably his level where he can go there, and I think he'll be decent there. You know, he fits their model.
It's not even necessarily about. Sorry, Mo, 1 sec. It's not even necessarily about
go ahead.
A level, though, is it, Dan? It's more about like style of play, you know, under David Moyes. You know, they don't really press that much. They're going to sit back. And Harry Maguire, I think we'll all agree, he's good at that. You know what I mean? The ball comes in, crossing in, heading the ball away. As you said, what he can't do is bring it out, I think.
Attacking the ball as well.
I think
I agree.
A great price. Sorry, Mo.
No, I was just saying, whoever scouted Harry Maguire to Man United just had no idea what football is, to be honest. Yes, he was good at Leicester, but he was good at just, as Lewis said, he would suit David Moyes. And if you watch Antonio interview with the Filthy Fellas, he said that in the beginning of the season, we tried to go for the high press, the position-based football, and it just didn't work. So we had, at the end, to save our season, we had to go back to what we know. and I think Harry Maguire would suit them really well. The valuation of 20 million, I think, is decent enough. The problem with that is that Man United want more money, and there is one more thing, and I don't understand, is that why Harry Maguire is so keen on staying at Man United. You know you're not going to get game time. It's only going to be about the money, but hold on. The Euros come in 2024. If you don't get game time, Southgate is going to get pressured not to play you at the Euro. You got away with it when Harry Maguire used to play half the season, 15 here and there. Now you're not playing at all. You're really fifth or sixth choice centre back, even after your left back, Luke Shaw, would start as a centre back before him. It's very strange to me. It has to be money driven. And I would respect Harry Maguire's ego and all the stuff. But, mate, it's all about money now. We all see it. Move on. Go get game time. Under Moyes, who will actually develop you more even to the centre-back that you maybe wanted to be after Leicester.
How much do Man United want, Dan?
Well, 40 is being banded around, but do you know what I mean? 40 million? Jesus Christ, 40 million. It's like me going to the local shop buying 4 cans of Tennant super bloody strength and going to the pub and saying, look, I know it's £5 a pint, but give me £4 a can and we'll be sorted. Well, it's not happening. It's not happening. It's a mess. It's a mess. And I agree with what Mo said there. The only thing I disagree with Mo is I just don't see Southgate budging on Maguire. I don't see him budging. Like, he seemed like...
Then even if he stays at Man United and have probably 2 games a season, you think he's going to play?
I mean, I think Southgate's response will be, but he's playing well in the Carabao Cup. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't shock me.
Who else do we have on that left-hand side, though? Because obviously John Stones would be the right-sided centre-back. So who would be the left-sided centre-back? Oh, give over, Billy.
I'm not even going to get into this debate, but Mings is quality. And you can see what he's done since Unai Emery has come in with his on-the-ball stuff as well. He's a fantastic, fantastic footballer. It's just a shame we've already replaced him.
Yeah, just watch Harry Mings hold the bench now because Pau Torres is there. Carlos is coming back, and Konsa, I think, is better. I think Mings is not going to play as much.
I agree.
I
think Mings is your worst centre half now. I think Mings is your worst centre half.
I mean, on paper, I'd have to agree. But I think what Mings brings in terms of leadership, and when he was out the team last season, we were a shambles. That probably says more about us then than it does Tyrone Mings, to be honest with you. But he's still going to be playing regular football with the Conference League, the cups. He's
for England,
still going to be a
do you
main.
think he's a starter for England? I don't. I think there's Mark Gay ahead of him.
I think there's better players out there. But if you're talking about a left-footed, left-sided centre half,
in this.
Yeah, I think there's about 4 or 5. There's Tomori, Levi Colwell, Max Kilman, Mark Gay. There's quite a few, man, that I say ahead of Mings and Maguire. But listen,
I'd probably agree. I'm just chucking Mings' hat in there because I think he's incredibly disrespected.
Maguire's in the same boat as Pickford, though, isn't he, for England?
Yes, exactly. They've
made mistakes.
Yeah, but Pickford play every week. Pickford play every week.
What I mean is it doesn't matter for some reason about performance at club level because they're not letting him down at international. Honestly, there's no that you won't get a look in with any other player.
He has his favourites, doesn't he?
He does have his favourites.
Yeah,
Southgate has his favourite. To be fair, Mings is actually one of them that he does usually pick. The only reason he didn't was because he had a shambles under Gerrard. That was the only reason that he didn't pick him in the last tournament. To be fair, you obviously got the Pickford thing we've discussed. Harry Maguire is another one. He loves Sterling. Sterling's never let him down. Even if Sterling has a bad season like at Chelsea, he'll be first teamer for sure. These players, like, Grealish, he's hardly got a look in, and look how good he's been for City. He doesn't get a look in for under Southgate. So I kind of get what Dan's saying. But in defence to what Mo said, how long can it last? How many seasons can Maguire be on the bench and not be lasted before he's told, look, mate, you need to be playing first team football?
Until Southgate goes.
Well, this is it.
I genuinely think that's the case. And I agree with Dan. All right. The footballing public, if you like, might put a bit of pressure on Southgate. I don't think it matters. I just don't think it matters. He's got his stance with Maguire, and that's where he'll stay until the day he dies. And until he leaves, I think Maguire's just that player that he will always pick.
Interesting one. LB, what needs to happen here with Maguire? Does Man United just need to say, look, okay, we're not going to get 40. Let's get him away. Let's try and replace him. Or do they just hang on to him and keep him as third choice?
Don't keep him as third choice.
Fourth. He's fourth.
Yeah, or fourth.
Okay, fourth choice.
Lindelof's ahead of him.
Yeah. If I was United, I'd just be getting rid of him. And if I was him, I'd be going. Like I say, I think the West Ham move is honestly, I think it's a great move for him. I really, really do. I think he'd play well there. I think he'd do well under David Moyes. I think he could have European football, have a little bit of a remontada. He'd still be in with a shout of getting in the England squad because he'd be playing week in, week out. United, of course, are going to push it, and I get that. Obviously, West Ham made the first bid. You'd expect West Ham to come back with a second bid. But if I was West Ham here, I'd just be looking at this and say, West Ham are in the power position here, aren't they, really? Like, you know what I mean? They know that Maguire isn't going to play. They know that deep down, whatever Man United say, whatever Ten Hag says about, I want to keep him around the squad, we all know for a fact that he doesn't want him there because he can't play out from the back. So West Ham, if it was me, I'd just be like, yeah, we'll give you 25 on that. Just, you know what I mean? You've got to be, I think West Ham have to be a bit ruthless here. I wouldn't be sort of doing this long out negotiation. I'd just be really firm with United and said 25, take it or leave it, or we're going. The only reason we're going in for him is because we know that you want him to go. We know that he doesn't fit your squad, so we'll take him off your hands. And by the way, I think 25 million quid for a 25-year-old centre-back a 30-year-old centre-back who's kind of failed at Man United. I think that's pretty reasonable, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? In this day and age. So, yeah, I see what United are doing. They have every right to sort of negotiate a little bit, but I don't think they can really push it. I think 40 million.
Do you know what though, LB? I'll be honest with you. If it wasn't for the fact West Ham weren't sorted in their signings, I'd agree with you. But I think United perhaps look at West Ham haven't made any signings really properly yet. It's not like they've got their house in check. Like we know there's been that. I know Lawless would probably know a lot more than this than I would, but there's been a lot of in-house arguing, hasn't there? Because Moyes wants full control, wants to be able to bring the players like Maguire in. You've got the people in the background saying we don't want those players coming in here. We want to be have a different project here. So I don't know. I mean, 25 million. Look, I sound desperate here, but I take 25. I take 25p at the moment. Get the 200 grand off the bloody wage bill. And I'm not being. And if any United fans, I know there's not a lot out there that do respect him, but I'm not being disrespectful to Maguire here. It's just. It's done. He doesn't fit in the Manchester United side. There's got to be that time where, as a player, you've got to sit there and go, "This ain't for me." You know, having the captaincy stripped off you, that's a major blow. Regardless of what anyone says, regardless of his little, social media, I'll still do all I can for the team. I got the captain's armband taken off me in Sunday League once. I was livid. I left after the season. I was fuming. So do you know what I mean? That's just context. As a player who's not been getting in the squad, he's just become a bit of a cheerleader as in the captain's role. He's got to go. He has to go.
Can I throw a massive spanner in the works? Who shall I go to? Billy, let's come to you. Is this a crazy statement to make? Harry Maguire doesn't get into the first team at West Ham. Let me tell you why. I would have Zuma and Aguerd over Harry Maguire all day long. So unless West Ham play free at the back, I don't think Maguire's getting into this team either. Is that a mad statement?
I don't think it's a ridiculously outlandish statement. I would probably disagree with it because I agree with LB. I think Harry Maguire would be a really good signing for West Ham because we know what he's like in the air, attacking balls as well as defending balls. You know, how many goals do West Ham score from corners? Now you throw Maguire in there, who's kind of renowned for that part of his game.
And doesn't do it for us.
For England, he needs regular game time.
Billy, I actually think it's a myth. Is Harry Maguire good in the air? I think actually it's a mess. It's a myth, because he's just tall and a big guy. I actually think his positioning is terrible in set pieces, even defensively. I actually don't think he's good enough. You can be as big as you can. If your positioning is terrible, if your technique is bad, you're just useless. Man United fans will tell you that.
Anyone else think that he keeps Zuma and Aguerd out of the side? Because I don't think they're shocking either.
But I think they play three in the back. So
that's what I think, Mo. I think he'll have to play three at the back.
Kerrer play on the right side. Kerrer has this bozo gene in him. Every time I'm watching, the guy has a mistake in him. So I think Harry Maguire, That the problem with Harry Maguire is that he's so used to playing on the left side, and Agard for that team is unshiftable, in my opinion.
Yeah,
He's
same.
been their
same.
best centre back. I'm not sure where he fits. He has to adjust to play on the right side, which is something he hasn't done for a while. Even in England, it's John Stones playing on the right side. I don't know how he actually get into that system for them, even if they play three in the back, because Kerr, he was actually a right back in Germany. And when he played for PSG, he was a right back. So David Moyes actually used him to go forward, to be the third center back that moves forward with the ball. Can Harry Maguire do that? I don't think so, to be honest.
But the other side, I'm just going to make sure I don't get egg on my face here. The thing for me is with Zuma is Zuma's injury prone, and I think that's probably another reason why they bring it.
And that's fair. And that's fair. But and you're right. If one of them gets injured, of course Harry Maguire comes in. But I think that is the way around. I don't think it's Harry Maguire comes in and then we wait until he gets injured for Zuma to get back in. I think if you ask most West Ham fans, they would rather have Zuma and Aguerd. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they would love Maguire. But I think if it's me and I'm a West Ham fan, I'm saying 30 million from Maguire. I'd rather go get Max Kilman for that money. I'd rather go and get better Koch-up from that.
Yeah, but are you going to get him? You're going to get Max Kilman for that money, though, Dan? That's the question.
Well, okay, I'd rather get better Koch-up for that money than from Southampton. For me, there's better players out there than for that money.
Yeah.
I
just think this is David Moyes signing this.
Oh, it's a classic Moyes signing.
It's a Moyes signing.
Yeah. And so who does he get ahead of then, LB? Who does he get ahead of?
Like Billy said, I don't think it's an outrageous statement. From he could start, but it's also building competition for places. Remember, they're in Europe again. They had a really bad season in the league last year. Whether that was due to being in Europe and being in the league at the same time, or whether it's just because they were shit in the league, who knows? But bringing in Harry Maguire, a man of his experience, will not make their defense any worse. It'll strengthen the competition for places. You know what I mean? The players that you're naming, they're going to go into training knowing that everyone has to be on form because there's an extra man there. So I honestly think it's a great signing. I really do. I'd like to say, I completely agree with Billy. I don't think it's an outrageous statement, but he will get. I think he will start because David Moyes. He's just a perfect David Moyes player, man. And David Moyes will put him in there. And I don't know who he'll come in for, but I'm sure that he will because David Moyes will put him in there.
Fair play, man. Listen, let's move. This came out literally not too long ago. Chaitanya, big up. Juventus news is great. Obviously, they've been removed from European competition. Fire sale coming. Arsenal should just get Vlahovic for a bargain fee. Whether that's going to happen or not, I don't know. I still don't. I still have my doubts that Arsenal are going to buy a centre forward. But a lot of clubs will now be sniffing around their players. I imagine there's a few that will probably leave. Mo, let's come to you. Juventus quick fire sale incoming, or is that just not going to happen?
It might happen because there is a really in the club, actually, the club is about disjointed at the moment. Some of the players actually don't agree with Allegri ball, as they say. It's very defensive. It's not expansive. And players like Chiesa don't like it. Players like a lot of other players don't like to play under him. So, in my opinion, I think they might sell Chiesa. They might sell Vlahovic. Cuadrado already didn't sign a new contract. In my opinion, I think Vlahovic will go to PSG. That's how I see it. The reports
they don't want him, though, do they? They don't want him. They told him they're going to cut his fingers off if he went there.
I think the thing about Vlahovic, he was good at Fiorentina, but since he moved to Juventus, he had a good half a season and then he fell off. The thing about him is that he thrives.
I still rate him, Mo. I still rate him.
He's okay. He's a good striker. He's still young. He can bang in goals. The problem is he needs a lot of work around him. His touch isn't the greatest, just people that don't watch him. His touch isn't the greatest, kind of similar to Lukaku's touch, which people don't like. I think the gem in that Juventus team is actually Chiesa. People should be all over Chiesa.
I agree with that.
Yes, he was injured. Can be backup to every winger in the Premier League. Guaranteed goals, in my opinion. Very fired up every time he steps on a pitch. That's what I'm looking to see where Chiesa is going to land.
Apparently,
can he play both sides as well, Chiesa? Can he play right and left?
Yes.
Mo, just a quick one. I mean, this is the feeling I'm getting from this Juventus news today. If Juventus were in the Champions League, they'd have fought this for tooth and nail. But it just feels like Europa Conference League. Yeah, we'll take the hit this season. Yeah, kick us out. Is that
actually it's not a punishment, Dan? Do you guys know that it was not a punishment, right? It's an agreement between
that's
Juventus. Yeah. People, I know the wording in every newspaper is that punishment. It's actually not a punishment. Juventus, instead of paying a fee, they said, you know what? We don't want your competition this year, the Conference League. we'll just focus on the league. So it's their choice not to play in Europe this year. They don't rate the Conference League as a lot of big teams. So it's up to them what they want to do with their players. Remember, Juventus aren't in financial trouble. They are run by a really wealthy family. Yes, they can pay fines here and there, but they have money.
If that's a club in England, they're getting absolutely battered for that, aren't they? If that's a club in England, regardless of who it is, saying, no, we're not playing that, they're getting battered, aren't they?
Listen, I'll be all over Chiesa if that's a rumor. I think LB, would you take him at City? He's quality.
Yeah. I mean, I've wanted him in the past a lot, and I've not seen him since he's come back from his ACL. Obviously, Mo will have more information on that and how he's played, but I don't think he played too many minutes since he come back. But people told me he looked all right, just a little bit slow because, of course, he's been out for a year. But before that, he was one of the hot like prospects. When he obviously was at the Euros, he was absolutely phenomenal. Doesn't stop moving, doesn't stop running. So I actually thought he's more of like, because City are a very slow team. You know, we're sort of like methodical in our play. I don't know. I thought maybe he suited more like a Liverpool, some sort of team like that. Like, you know, that's a little bit more chaotic than City rather than City. But look, as a sort of backup player, as a squad rotational player, yeah, of course I would. But I just don't know if he's fully. I don't think we get the best out of him.
Fair, man. Listen, I'd take both. I'd take Chiesa and Vlahovic personally. I think that's what we need in terms of positions. Go on, Bill.
Apparently, if you believe the reports anyway, we were willing to pay up to 70 million for Chiesa, but he just wasn't interested, apparently.
Wow. Don't respect the Villa, mate. Sort that about.
I know. Each to their own.
Go and have a word, lad. Go and have a word.
The RB instead, man. You got the RB instead.
I actually think he's an idiot. I think he's an idiot. If you don't see the project at Aston Villa, I'm not saying that because Billy, you can watch Never Fall, and I've been saying that Aston Villa, the way the club is moving at the moment, it's not only about this year, and I'm not going to say they're going to dethrone or take the place from Spurs, but it looks like Aston Villa want to go back to these old days when they were a bigger club with bigger name. Aston Villa have the name. They just don't have the recent history to back it. Having Emery, buying the players they have now, it looks like the club is moving. You know what? In 2-3 years, we can go back to be the 6th biggest club in England at the moment, or we can go back to challenge for European places regularly. And I think he is as an idiot, because if he goes to Aston Villa, I think he might have played more game time than if he goes to Arsenal. Even if he goes to Spurs, Kulusevski's taking that spot. City, he's holding bench until he gets used to the system. I think Aston Villa would have been a perfect move for him, especially with the Euro coming.
I'm glad you agree, Mo.
Poor Billy.
This Juventus news is actually quite significant for Villa, because it means that we now become a seeded team in the Conference League. So in theory, we play a lesser team in the playoff to get into the group stage, which is all just a bit mental as it is. But yeah, it's quite significant news.
So you play a playoff, do you?
Yeah, so we've got a playoff to qualify for the group stage, which now we're seeded, in theory, means that we could play a lesser team. Whereas before we could have played Juventus, Frankfurt, play teams like that. If UEFA hadn't have split us up like I think they did last year, they split the 5 big leagues up so they couldn't play against each other. But yeah, it's ridiculous that we have to play a playoff to even qualify for the group stage. It's all mad.
Why it's ridiculous? When was the last time you were in Europe?
It's not necessarily that.
It's not banter, but why it's ridiculous?
It's not necessarily that. It's the fact that you have to do this anyway, in my opinion. You know, we've qualified in the Premier League. I don't understand the playoff system. Man City, Man United, Arsenal aren't going to be playing a playoff to qualify for the group stage of the Champions League. Why do we have to do it in the conference? I just don't understand it personally.
Whatever it is it the points you accrue?
No, because everyone has to play it. Juventus would have had to play a playoff game to qualify. It just
how do you get in the group stages then? You don't.
By qualifying for this.
So nobody automatically qualifies for the group stages.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Everyone has to play a playoff.
Some sort of playoff game, or
but
something
then
they
fix the playoffs to make sure that none of the big clubs go out.
I think they did last year providing the standard.
LB, define the word big clubs in the Europa League, mate.
Villa.
Interesting one, man. The other thing is that Chelsea, before we move on to the Caicedo thing, Chelsea apparently have got some fine from FFP of like £10 million. This FFP thing, you wouldn't want to break that, would you? Who can afford that? Oh, Chelsea must be in the red now.
All these clubs. Jeez.
I'm reading. I read the thing in a different way. I was talking to Daps downstairs, and I told him that, listen, this 10 million euros, 8.2 million pound fine, is only from UEFA. The problem is the Premier League are now investigating the same matter. That's completely different case. If you get fined that you're reporting the wrong finances in the Premier League, you'll get a hefty fine and probably a point deduction if you're found guilty. And if they are already found guilty in UEFA, it's much easier to convict them in the Premier League. You see the problem here. And it's absolutely during the Abramovich era. It's not actually during Todd Bowley's era. It's the actually previous 3 years for FFP. It's very strange that Chelsea did that, to be honest, like not reporting finances. I'm not sure if Lewis knows anything about that, but
Well, no anything, mate, to be honest with you.
Why would any other club do that?
I haven't seen anything. I'm not here.
He'll be squeaky clean, mate. I tell you, he's absolutely squeaky clean in Man City. Let's go into it because this has come out from the special one, who says that Gary Jacob from Time Sport is reporting that Moises Caicedo and his representatives are set to ask Brighton to lower the £100 million price tag. Dan, is £100 million for Caicedo ridiculous? Is it just the going rate now for every single player? Because everyone you want is now 100 million, it seems.
You're asking the wrong guy here, mate. We paid 80 for Maguire, paid nearly 100 for Anthony.
That's why I've come to you, you know. That's why I've come to you.
Look, it's with Caicedo, the difference between him and a lot of players is he's still so young. He's still not anywhere near his ceiling. That boy's going to get better and better.
He's class, isn't he?
He is class, but the problem is, I suppose, and this isn't a dig at Chelsea, does he get better and better at Chelsea? Because Chelsea is still, I think, an absolute mess. Okay, they've managed to flog a few people to Saudi Arabia, managed to flog a couple to us, and but they've not. I look at that team at the moment. I don't sit there. I think, fuck me, Chelsea are back this season. Be ready. It's a mess there. I'd like to know what Poch is saying to Caicedo. He's got to have sold him a plan of this is who I'm looking to bring in to play around you. I think I don't know. I would. Why would you go to Chelsea at the moment? I honestly don't see why you would. I don't. No Champions League football, no European football for that matter. He's going to play that with Brighton. There's got to be other clubs out there that I think would want him. I suppose the only thing is at the moment Chelsea are the only ones that will go out there and spend it. But I don't see why he goes there anyway. I don't see why he goes there. I don't know.
No, that's cap, Dan. That's cap.
No,
that's rubbish, mate. That's
why?
Rubbish. Come on, man.
Why?
Come on. Honestly.
Why?
Because
Tell me why.
I know they're not in the European competition, but he's going to Chelsea. He's going to double, triple, quadruple his wages, and within a year he will be playing in European competition. There's a high chance.
So European. So will he be playing Champions League?
Probably not next season, no.
So that's 2 years out of Champions League then straight away.
No, he's not playing Champions League now.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That's 2 years out of the biggest tournament. A player of his,
he's got more chance of getting Champions League with Chelsea than Brighton.
I agree with that, but I didn't say stay at Brighton. I said there's got to be other clubs you can go to.
Yeah, but there's no one else. No one else is going to pay 100 million for Moises Caicedo. That's the problem. No one.
I do agree. I do kind of agree with what Dan's saying, though. Not the fact that if he goes to Chelsea, it'll be a flop and it'll be dreadful, but I think people are sleeping on how bad Chelsea are right now. Like if this window ends now, they haven't even got a first 11, let alone squad depth. Like, but they've got one game a week.
Yeah, there's problems. There's problems, Dan. But there's problems. But also, like, he could see himself as a potential solution to the problem. And no one else is going to pay 100 million for this guy. He's played a season and a half in the Premier League.
You're right there.
No one is going to pay.
I agree with that.
I think it'll happen, but I just
think it's the wrong move for him. I think, like you say, he could triple his wages, but do you not want to be playing with the elite? And I don't think they do that for at least 2 seasons. At least 2 seasons, Chelsea.
No, but hold on. They have one game. The last time they were in the same place, they actually won the league. Yes, there's Pep Guardiola now. They got Pochettino. I'm not saying they're going to win the league, but maybe Moises Caicedo, Pochettino is going to sell him the project as you are the one missing. You are the one missing coming next to Enzo. They got Nkunku. That Jackson guy looked brilliant. They're looking at Kudus now. They got Mudryk working. They got Sterling, which is I don't rate now at the moment. But they got something going on. They're keeping Levi Colo. They have 3 left backs. They have 2 right backs. Listen, I actually was against Chelsea, how they run the club. And I said that many times, and I got a lot of stick for it. But at the moment, even with that much money they spend, they are still 5th in the net spend over the past 5 years. Just because of the sales they did. They are just selling players left and right. So the club is being run better now than just 6 months ago. Moises Caicedo goes there. They have Enzo Fernandez. They have midfielders. They are relying on youngsters. Caicedo, the youngster, look ready. They have 1 game a week plus the cups, which I don't think Pochettino will focus a lot on that. They will just focus on being one of the top 5, which is I think is achievable looking at the teams around if they get the team that they have in mind. They signed a lot of players. And also, nobody wants Caicedo. Nobody is bidding for Caicedo. He has one option to double or triple his wage, which is goes to Chelsea Football Club. I reckon if Arsenal go in for him tomorrow and they offer him the same wage, he might accept that deal. But Arsenal aren't in for him. That's the reality.
Arsenal are not going to go back in for him, in my opinion. There's a few gooners that think that we will try and match it and try and go in and compete. I don't see us going in for another 100
Can I add something to this? The one club I'm looking at to go in for Caicedo at the moment, which is the club that just sold Fabinho now. I'm hearing there's a here we go at the moment for 40 million. They sold Fabinho for 40 million. They had an actual budget for Lavia for 42 million. That's 82 million. Put 10 million, go put 90 million pounds on the table for Brighton. You're getting the players that will play DM along with Sabosla and all the guys that they have Thiago.
It'd be scary him going
because
there.
Exactly. Nobody had in mind that they will get rid of Henderson and Fabinho in a window. They did it. Klopp has big balls, right? He just did it. Got rid of all the experience. Thiago's back in training. You have the experience in Thiago. McAllister has a little bit of experience with Brighton. Get him back together with Caicedo. You have a midfield going for you next year. You have already the budget. You raised 40 million for Fabinho. Nobody expected that. Go bid for Caicedo. That would be my shout.
That's a great shout. I think Liverpool with Caicedo that's a really good
scary,
signing.
Scary.
They need one. They need to holding midfielder. He would be absolutely perfect for him. Listen, I think Chelsea. I think he probably will end up going Chelsea, and I think he would be a good signing for them. I don't think personally in the next couple of years, like Dan says, that Chelsea will be up there with the title. But he would definitely have age on his side, being 21 years old, not to worry about having to win right now. So I don't think it would be
point out, Potts, as well. That's another
one.
one. That's another one that United rejected when we could have had him for 4 million. Just throw that out there as well.
Wow.
So that's another one. That's another one.
I love this. I love this from Kaz or Daps. It's one of them. Mo, can you shut up? Hear you from the garden. That does make me laugh. Big up Daps and Kaz. Listen, I do think that would be a signing that would be good for anyone. I think he's outstanding. The Lavia deal has just got a little bit dead in the water. There was rumours that Chelsea were going to look into that one at the moment if Liverpool weren't going to go back in. But I'm hearing that Liverpool were going to go back in. So I don't know what's happening with that one. But Lavia and Caicedo are basically going to be on the move. I think it just depends where they're going to go, to be honest. And I think both signings would be very, very good. I think Caicedo is ready right now. I think Lavia might be a couple of years off that level, but I think he's top. I look at him and think he's a top player. So I think they're getting 2 good players. I can't lie. Let's talk Hojlund. Hojlund. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Billy, this is a Manchester United signing that I'm interested to see what happens with. I think he's going to go Man United. PSG are obviously rumoured to be interested. They bid, I think it was yesterday, 43 million, I think it was, which is a hell of a lot of money for a player who scored about 7 goals for Atlanta last year. But there we go. They're paying for the potential, I suppose, which is what it's about now. What do you make of this one, Bill?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's an awful lot of money for someone who's not really proven his worth just yet. Obviously, that can change if and when he gets his move and could turn into Haaland. I doubt it, to be honest with you. I doubt he's going to turn into someone that good. But yeah, I don't know an awful lot about him. All I can go off at the minute is the goals that he's scored, and it isn't a great deal. So I'm kind of wondering why you're being quoted upwards of 40 million for him. It just seems a little bit baffling to me. I think for the same price, you could get better players. Now, I can't think of them off the top of my head, But I think there's better out there, probably more established players out there for that price. I understand you're paying for the future as well, but it's a lot of money for someone that's only scored 7 or 8 goals. It is a lot of money.
Billy, 9. Come on, 9. 9.
I apologise. 9. I forgot that one he scored in the cup.
Yeah.
You,
the problem is, Billy.
Go on, Obi.
Yeah, I was just going to say the problem is like you just said. Then there's better players out there, but who realistically
is there? Yeah, this is the problem with number 9s. There ain't many out there. Number 9s.
This is why, because I agree with everything you just said, Billy. I think obviously it's a gamble and that, but I think it's the only real option they've got. Like, there's a serious talent drain in football these days. There's no sick players. You go back 10, 15 years ago and think of the strikers. I mean, you can name like 10, 15 strikers, and any of those 10 to 15, United will take any of them and be absolutely buzzing with. And they're probably one of the best strikers in the world. There's a serious lack of just goal scorers out there. And this is why United are now having to go for a play like this. And let's be honest, this guy could come in, they could pay 60 million, and he could be an absolute donkey. He could be shit, yeah? But what else can they do? You know what I mean? There's a couple players, but they're all in the similar boat. They're all in the same sort of situation. There is no one, like City had, there is one player they could go and get, is Kane, but clearly they've not got the ambition or whatever to go and get that. Other than that, there is no one else that I can think of at the top of my head that United could sign, and Dan would sit there and say, great signing. This guy's going to score 20 goals this season. Because there's not really anyone that I can think of.
I think Ramos or Vlahovic would be a better option than Hojlund, in my honest opinion.
I don't want Vlahovic. I don't want him.
I don't think he's like... Vlahovic is not like that guy who's like, oh, absolutely buzzing, guaranteed. I think he's a good player, but like Mo said before, he's a good player. You know? He's not an elite level.
Would you rather have him over Hojlund, though?
I've watched both. Nope.
You think Hojlund's better, yeah, Mo?
Yep. I think Hojlund has a better ceiling.
I
think Hojlund has a better potential. I think he's quick, has a good touch. He's so rapid. That was his first season in Italy. People are actually, I think, deceived with the number of games he played. He actually played 1,800 minutes, scored 9 goals. So he got half a goal a game. Every time I watched him, he's absolutely dangerous. I think, yes, he's overpriced, but you got to remember, this is Atalanta. They absolutely really tough a little bit to negotiate with. But at the end, the agreement is closer. It's just 45 minutes ago, Alfredo Pedula from Italy said that Man United just bid a new bid for him, 62 plus 5. Atalanta 168. I think that ends up to be 70 total package at the end, probably by the end of like a couple of days now, by Monday or something. I don't think he is what they need, in my opinion. I think they need Harry Kane if they want to go quickly to the top. But Rasmus Hojlund is the right step in the right direction, but they still need an experienced forward because they don't. Anthony's 23. Rashford cannot carry a line. I think Hojlund is great, very good player, but I still think Harry Kane takes them right at City Street, behind City. Tomorrow you get Harry Kane, you're ahead of Arsenal, you're ahead of Liverpool, you're ahead of everybody.
I've said exactly the same thing, Mo. I've said that as a City fan, I'm sure Dan will agree. If United get Harry Kane, they're title contenders. He's that good.
I think we've all said that.
Not just that, though, LB. I think if United went out and got Harry Kane, watch those Glazers out chants just die down a little bit, I tell you. Harry Kane is an exceptional striker. Harry Kane scored 31 goals in the Premier League last season in that Spurs team, okay? Let's not forget that. Harry Kane may be approaching 30, 31, but he is a goal machine, and he is what we need now. Now, look, Hojlund's going to come in, and I agree with Mo because I looked at his stats, and he does get a lot of hate, 9 goals, but the minutes played, it's fantastic. It is really promising. But at the same time, United need now. I get and I actually agree with what Ten Hag's doing. I do agree that he is building, and he sees that this is a massive project. But Manchester United at the moment are going to put a lot of... Sorry, that's my cat. Go away. I'm going to put a lot of... Honestly, once Harry Kane as well. I'm going to put a lot of pressure on this young man's shoulders now. What we've got to remember here is it's not just... Everyone's going on about this one striker for Man United. Man United don't need one striker. They need 2.
I agree.
They need 2.
Well, you have a half striker out there. So you have a half striker on the which is Martial. He's a half striker.
Half. Christ,
He's definitely a half striker. He's definitely a
Half.
half striker.
Half. He plays once every 6 months. Honestly,
Okay, so quarter a striker. But I think as long as you have Martial on the books, which he makes a lot of money, by the way, I think you need to get rid of him. But nobody's in for him.
I agree. Like I talked to Potts about this. Probably, I think it was on WhatsApp when I heard that there was a chance Martial was going to Saudi. I was like, surely now Man United have got, especially with the Kane news broke about obviously that Spurs wanted to sign it. I was like, it could be happening here, but it's just gone quiet again. Back to Hojlund. Hojlund, I think, will be a good signing for Manchester United. As much as I said I want Kane, I think he will be a good signing. One thing we've seen here is since Ten Hag's come in, the players he's wanted, other than Anthony, you could say was a waste, with the waste of amount of money they've spent. They've turned out to be decent signings. They back him with the players he wants. Hojlund this season, like I've said, and we've seen this with Kobe Mainu in the preseason, we can't put all this pressure on him. But the problem is the price that's going to come in with him, that pressure's already going to be there. And if he starts the season and doesn't get a goal in his first 5-6 games, then we're going to see teams, we're going to see pundits, we're going to see the fans writing him off, talking about the price paid already. So I think Hojlund is in a sticky situation with Manchester United, and they do need to bring someone in with him. And I will say this, and you can all laugh at me for this, it would not surprise me the way Manchester United are going at the moment with the whole Johnny Evans deal if on deadline day we bring in someone like fucking Danny Ings as a second striker. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm telling you, it wouldn't surprise
Danny, your club has fallen off, mate. I'm telling you that.
LB, it hasn't fallen off, mate. It fell off years ago.
I actually think that Man United, if they get Hojlund, Ivan Toney is available for purchase, if I'm not mistaken, in October. I think Man United should go and sign a deal now with them to have an agreed deal ready with Brentford. Get Ivan Toney, and in October he starts training with the club, and in January he plays. You play Rasmus Hojlund, you survive until then, and then comes Ivan Toney. He adds a lot to that front line. If you're not willing to spend 100 to 110,
but how much you paying for that? How much you pay for that combination?
That's my point. That's my point, Lewis. Is that if they get him now, he's going to be cheaper than when he start banging goals again for Brentford the second half of the season.
Yeah, but you're still going to be approaching 100 million for the pair.
Probably more, LB, I'd say. Tony,
so are you not just better putting all your eggs in one basket and go try to get Kane?
No. I agree, Kane. But if they are not interested in Kane, I agree with you, Kane. Yeah. But if you want a young striker, because I think the thing is Ten Hag is doing is that he's getting players with potential, resale value. He doesn't want to get a 30. Harry Kane, for me, reminds me of Benzema, right? Benzema started this amazing career at 30 years old after Cristiano left, 31 years old, right? In my opinion, Harry Kane can give you 3-5 years, but that's it. There's no resale value. He's not an asset for you.
This is his last.
But he can win you trophies.
This is his last big contract.
That's it. But if you're going to go for Rasmus Hojlund, I don't think Man United financially at the moment are willing to spend 100 or 110 and 60 to 65 million. So the cheaper option, go get Ivan Toney for 45 or 40, complete the 100. You got two strikers. One of them is ready in January, and he has a lot of future. He's English international. I think he can be the face of that forward line for them with Rashford. I think it's a package deal that is not bad.
Mo, do you know what the problem is with Ivan Toney? You say 40 million, but English tax, my friend, we won't get him for 40. He's
suspended. He's addicted. He's suspended.
It doesn't matter though. Imagine if it was an injury. It'd be the same. Imagine if it was just a long-term injury. They don't lose the talent overnight.
I just cannot believe Man United are not going for Kane. I think it's ridiculous.
No, me neither.
And people are saying, it's 30.
It's just frustrating.
Why are people doing this thing now saying, as soon as players hit 30, they're finished? As Mo said, have you not looked at the likes of Benzema? Look at the likes of Lewandowski. Players arguably get even better when they're at that age. Why? Because they understand where to be on the pitch and in the penalty area, their movement. Benzema is the perfect sort of example of that. He got even better when he got into his 30s. Why? Because he probably slowed down a little bit. So we had to rely on his IQ and his intelligence of where to be inside the penalty area. And that's where he's getting all his goals, And
they can't afford him, though, LB. He'll be about 120 million, and apparently they ain't got that, Man United.
It's not just that, though. It's the wages as well that he all wants, isn't it? 30 million a year. They should
remortgage every single thing that they've got and go out for Kane. Because I tell you what, all right, let's say he only has 5 years. I can guarantee you this. If they get Kane, those 5 years, you'll be challenging for silverware.
100%.
And then he leaves on a free, but who cares? You might have won a couple Premier Leagues. You might have won a Champions League.
LB,
Then it puts you back on
I
that
would
pedestal
liken
of
it.
being Man United.
I would liken it to the Van Persie signing. I really would. The effect he would have on that Manchester United team. When Van Persie come in at United, everyone said, well, he's getting on now. He was unreal. He obliterated it. And Harry Kane knows the league, knows exactly what he's doing. And like the key thing is as you said, as he's got older, his game has changed. He brings players in now as well. His assists are unreal for a striker, I think.
Do you think though, Dan, like you need more than just a striker? Like, so your midfield, you got your wide areas, you got your up top, you got another centre half. We talk about Maguire being replaced. Like,
striker's key, mate. Striker's key.
I agree with that. I agree. I'm just trying to justify why they're not doing this. That's what I'm trying to work out. Like, it must be they ain't got money. You must be Man United ain't got money.
Do you know one thing? It could be. I haven't heard. I mean, is it a case of? And Ten Hag has said, "I don't want him. He's too old. He's not. He doesn't."
Well, he's a stupid
He's
idiot.
an idiot. He's an idiot.
I'm playing devil's advocate here, boys. I'm playing devil's advocate. Have we not thought for a second? Maybe it's that.
Well, he's dumb if that's true. If that is,
he's only 30 today.
So. I actually don't think. I think Ten Hag, if you offer him Harry Kane tomorrow, he would take him with open arms and he will build everything around.
Who signed? Was it not him who signed Casemiro though as well? It was him when he signed Casemiro. So
he didn't want Casemiro a little bit.
Did he not want Casemiro?
Yeah, he wanted De Jong. He chased De Jong for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yeah, no, he did. He did. That's fair.
Casemiro picked the phone up and said, "I'll fix it." Maybe we should get Casemiro to ring Ten Hag and say, "Fix it again. Bring Kane in."
I actually, without Harry Kane, I think you're still a step behind a lot of clubs like Arsenal and Man City.
Well, they're not up there, are they, Dan? You know, I'm not looking at Man United and going, United are title challengers. You're not even in that conversation for me. But they get Kane, they are. And that's the difference, you know. As a United fan going into it this season, if you get this Hojlund guy, whatever you think about him, is he going to improve the squad? It's unlikely you're going to make them title challengers.
I've said if we don't seriously back getting the players in, more players in, we'll finish 5th or 6th this season with Hojlund. I strongly believe that, and I can be called negative. No. Well, Mo, this is how I feel, mate. This is how I feel. Because again, okay, we've brought some decent players in for the 11, but it's still the squad that is paper thin in quality.
I thought you get in Amrabat. Is very good signing. Very, very good signing.
But that proves they do have the money, though, doesn't it? That proves that they do have the money.
You say that, but I think they're relying on the sales to get Amrabat because there's been no official, there's been no bid put in, there's been nothing like that. I think they're still relying.
Sure,
on the sales.
Are in the mud if you can't afford Amrabat as well. What's going on at United? Like, what is actually going on?
And the talk is Amrabat's rejected Liverpool, holding out for United as well, which is bizarre. Strange one that is.
I've heard that before, but yeah.
It's mad for me, mate. What's happening at Man United? It really is. That's crazy. Like, if you can't afford that, but you can go and afford 100 million for Anthony and like 95 million for Sancho and put in Rashford on 375k a week, but you can't afford bloody Amrabat without selling someone.
Did any of you hear the interview with Rashford as well on the overlap? Doesn't want to play as a striker.
He's bad at it. He's not good at it.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is we've tried to play him as a striker so much. He doesn't want to play as a striker. And I thought that was quite telling.
Yeah, put me in the ballet dancing and I will say, I can do it.
I think you could anyway, mate. I think you could anyway.
It is funny though, Dan, isn't it? And you weren't one of these, but Man United fans are proper on Arsenal's case. Like, Arsenal are crap, and they lost to Wrexham and Real Madrid. I haven't heard from them since. It's funny.
You can't say the Wrexham one. You can't say that was the kids one. I'm not having. I won't.
Yeah, but still, man, it's just funny, isn't it? How pre-season don't matter. Then you just said,
don't
matter.
It's just that badge anyway, isn't it?
100%. And the thing is, and actually, the thing that I saw that made me laugh even more was Mainu goes off injured, and I see Man United fans saying, "Season over now. That's our season over." I'm like, "Are you for real? This is a fucking kid who's literally breaking into the team." Give it a rest. Do me a
favor. That shows you where your Man United are at, bro. And even though you got top 4 last year, I still think it's like.
But LB was top 4 in a terrible season.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Any other season, you wouldn't have got top 4. So I just think it's like this season could be a bit of a reality check. Really could.
I agree.
Yeah, listen, Mo, I know you've got to shoot, bro. Thank you so much for coming on, my friend. It's a pleasure to have you on. Make sure that you go and follow Mo over at Never a Foul. How can people follow you on your socials, Mo?
Never a Foul or Judge Mo on Twitter, Instagram as well, but mainly daily on Never a Foul. We do 2 streams a day. We got a big one tonight. So keep an eye on that. But thank you guys. It was very nice to be with you guys. Appreciate the invite, Dan. Absolute pleasure to be here and hopefully to talk to you guys soon.
Always, my friend.
All the
Take
best,
care.
mate.
Mo, take care, mate.
Nice one, Mo. LB, let's come to you, bro. Mahrez is gone. The tissues are out. The tears are out. It's a sad time.
Yeah.
£30 million, by the way, is a steal. You're never selling him for £30 million in England. That's for sure. Like that's a steal for a player who's guaranteed you goals. I've talked to you about him leaving before, so I'm not going to talk about that again. But I am going to talk to you about how you replace him, because for me, it's not just about the quality of the player; it's about the guaranteed goals. And I do worry for Manchester City to go and replace that. Now, I'm not going to sit there and say that you're going to be worse without Mahrez, because we've proven before that you've lost players like Sterling, Jesus, Zinchenko, etc. The list goes on. But who are you linked with, and who would you like? Because for me, there's a couple of options you've got that in terms of the links. Or do you just play Foden out there?
I don't think it's going to be Foden. I think it might be Bernardo Silva, who played there. I think it was in his first year he come to City. He played there and did really, really well. Then we never seen him there ever again. And there seems to be a sort of agreement now that Foden is going to be given a chance to play in the midfield. So I think that does not to say that Foden won't play on the right. I do think he'll play on the right sometimes, but I do think that mainly he's going to be in the middle. So again, you're looking at a backup sort of rotational player to Bernardo Silva, and you're also ideally going to get someone who can play on the left, because we've only got Jack Grealish out on that left-hand side. The amount of football he played last year was ridiculous. You know what I mean? I think it was like our 3rd or 4th most played player, and we played like 60 games. So in an ideal world, you do want to get a right winger who can also play left wing as well, so you have that sort of rotational balance. We've been linked with Dani Olmo. That's not going to happen. We've been linked with who else? We've been linked with a couple of players, but it's not really. We've been linked with Elise, but that's gone dead, so I'm not sure what's going on that one. I think a lot of City fans would like to see Leroy Sané back at Manchester City. I think that would be the exciting one. We feel like there was a little bit of stuff that he's still got to accomplish at City. I think he regrets his move to Bayern. You know, when he went to Bayern Munich, the whole story that we were being told was he wants to go back to Germany. He wants to become the main man at Bayern. He wants to become basically the man in Germany. And it's just not really quite worked out that way. He had an all right season last year for Bayern, but he's not the star man there. And I think that was kind of what he was hoping. So if you're not the star man at Bayern, why don't you might as well just come to City, and, you know, you won't be the star man at City, but the fans most of the fans want you. There's still a lot of City fans that don't want him back, but a lot of fans do want him back. You'll win trophies, and, you know, hopefully he shouldn't really need that 1 season pass that we give every City player when they get signed, because he's already been there before. Other than that, it's just Elise, and I'm not really sure. We've got Oscar Bob that's just come from the academy, played some minutes in pre-season, but that's a little bit of a step up from Riyad Mahrez to him at that age. So yeah, I'd like to see Leroy Sané back. I really would. I think he made a mistake going to Germany.
Do you know what the difference is, though, Potts? Sorry, mate. The difference between, again, Man United and Liverpool and Man City is Man City, they very rarely get it wrong with transfers replacing people, do they? They very rarely get it wrong. When 2 players like Gundogan goes out and Mahrez goes out, you better believe that they know who's coming in. They know what move they're making next. Whereas if it was like a United, Rashford, for argument's sake, or Bruno went, you'd be sat there thinking, Christ Almighty, we're gonna bring Ward-Prowse in here or something like that. Whereas City will have the plans already in place. That they will have someone they know that is going to come in, and it'll be someone that Pep wants to work with firstly, and it'll be someone that Pep knows he can better as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're bang on. Leroy Sané, 2018 to 2019, those 2 years got double figures goals and double figures assists. Man, he was class. And I don't know, I haven't heard that link.
He's not been linked with us. It's one that Manchester City fans.
It's a one. Okay.
Yeah, we're sort of like pushing that. But the only reason we're sort of pushing it is because we're not getting linked with anyone. Like Elise and Olmo, the only 2 players we've been linked with. We're not going to sign Olmo when they've already sold Szoboszlai, and we're potentially getting Gvardiol from them. So it's only Elise that we've been linked with, and that's just gone dead. So I don't know, man. Like that Dan says, it's not going to be a case of we're not going to sign anyone or we'll get it wrong. I'm pretty sure City already know who they're signing. You know what I mean? They're probably just working on it in the background and the press haven't picked up on it yet. But as a fan, you're looking at it going, hang on a minute. The season kicks off in 3 weeks? And, we need to replace this guy. It's crucial. You can't go into the season having 2 wingers because that's what we have right now. We have 2 wingers. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. Billy, let me ask you this. As an Arsenal fan, I speak to a lot of people that are all getting very excitable about Man City in terms of their outgoings. I was not foolish enough last year to think that the Liverpool fans that were telling me they're going to walk this league now because Haaland's going to come in and mess everything up and they've lost Jesus, Zinchenko and Sterling. I thought they were talking nonsense and I backed City to win it. And of course they did. I didn't, however, expect Arsenal to be up there. And I do expect now Arsenal to be up there again. A lot of Arsenal fans are saying, they're losing Gundogan and they're losing Mahrez and they're losing this and etc. Kyle Walker and Laporte are the other 2 going. City are going to be fine, aren't they? Pep's going to replace them fine. Do you think?
Yeah, you would have thought so. I agree with Dan. They've already got the players there ready and waiting. They know who they're going to sign and they very rarely get it wrong. I'm interested to hear what you think, though, LB. Are you slightly concerned with all of these outgoings? Because it seems from my perspective, I suppose, as an outsider kind of looking in, that they've achieved what they want to at City. Now it's time for me to hang my boots up at Man City and move on somewhere. What are your thoughts on that? Are you slightly concerned about the outgoings or the amount of them?
No, I think when you look at it from the outside, you might look at it and go, whoa, what's going on here? Why are they all getting off? Okay, Riyad Mahrez just got offered £29 million a year from Saudi Arabia, tax-free. He's also 33 years old. He'll be an idol out there. Kyle Walker's 33 years old, has 1 year left on his contract. Bayern Munich want to give him a 2-year contract. He's won everything he could possibly win at Manchester City. And Pep Guardiola told him and told everyone in a press conference about 3 months towards the end of the season that he can't play in the 3 at the back system, which we're probably going to run this year. You don't really want to hear that as a defender. He's probably thinking, you know what, now's probably time to go. And Gundogan's the only one where we possibly made a mistake because we only offered him a 1-year deal and he wanted a 2-year contract.
Billy's livid at that, LB. Billy's livid.
Yeah, Billy's done. He's done. He's done. What, you're talking nonsense, man.
I was just asking a question. Nonsense. I was just asking a question, LB. You know what I mean?
Fine. I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, I can't go through all that again, Billy, man.
LB,
basically, no. The answer to the question is no.
I got up to Gundogan. I got up to Gundogan.
LB, with what Billy's just said, I want to add something to that. With the 2 players that have gone, this is the one thing that I said to my mates who are City fans. You knew last in there, if City needed a goal, the likes of Gundogan, Mahrez always seemed to come on and find it, didn't they? Have you potentially lost two match winners in that?
Yeah, potentially we have. Yeah, but I'd look at Kovacic, mate, and I see a lot of people playing Kovacic down. First of all, he played the other day. He was
great
immense. He was great. He was great first 45 minutes. Yeah, he played really, really well 45 minutes the other day. And with Pep Guardiola, because people are going, oh yeah, he's not as good as Gundogan. No, he's not as good as Gundogan. But Gundogan, when he wasn't playing under Pep, wasn't as good as Gundogan under Pep. You put Kovacic under Pep, I'm not saying Kovacic is going to get close, going to get to Gundogan's levels, but he could get very close to Gundogan's levels under Pep Guardiola. He's going to be exceptional. But you are right in terms of goals, and this is one thing that I have said, that is a bit of an issue, because Jack Grealish doesn't score goals in this system because he always holds the width. You know what I mean? And his job is to sort of stretch play, bring the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden, Bernardo Silva, Gundogan in the middle, give them a little bit of space to run in between the fullback and the centre-back or whatever. So he doesn't get goals and assists. Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side doesn't really get that many goals and assists either. So, you do have that situation where you can't just have everything on Haaland. You know what I mean? When you have Haaland up top, you have Foden on the right who scores goals, you have Mahrez on the right who scores goals, you have Kevin De Bruyne who scores goals. You potentially now go into a team that only has really 2 players in Kevin De Bruyne and Haaland who scored the goals. So it is a bit of like a concern. However, this Pep Guardiola we're talking about, I'm sure he'll have a solution, and I ain't that concerned. But we do need to get a winger in for sure.
I think you're right. I think you do need a winger, and I do think you'll get one. I don't look at Manchester City at the moment and think they're weak. I think some people are being silly when they say that. Manchester City have
Hopeful.
never been weak. Yeah,
Being
hopeful. Yeah,
hopeful.
that's for sure. I think there's a lot of teams that are still weak. I can't lie. I do. I don't think Manchester City are one of them. I think Man United we discussed, Chelsea we discussed. Liverpool are still weak in my opinion. They've got a couple of good players, but you look at their squad. It's no depth in it at all. They haven't even got a holding midfielder at the moment. They get one injury to that one holding midfielder they're going to buy. They're back to Bajcetic again or Harvey Elliott or whatever it be. Like, this is what I mean. People are, when I'm looking at Arsenal squad right now, I'm going, if Saka gets injured, who's going to come in there? But then when you speak to other fans, they're like, have you think Liverpool are going to be right up there this season? Not at the moment.
Do you think City could walk away with it this year, Dan? Just because Liverpool have not got the great squad, like you say, and Arsenal are the only real team that I can see challenging for the title. And now this year they've got to deal with the Champions League, but they're going to have to play the full squad. That's a little bit of a sort of you've got to get used to that this season, because obviously last year the Europa League Conference League, whatever it was, you didn't really play your strongest team. Odegaard played 2 games. Do you think that there is a potential? I'm not saying you think they will, but do you think there is a potential that maybe City could walk away with the league this year?
Yeah, I think there is potential for that. And that is the only reason that will happen is if Liverpool and Arsenal are not the threat that we think teams think that they're going to be, or we flop in the rest of the market and we leave it as it is and we get maybe 1 or 2 players that don't look like they're going to do much. Because I think Manchester City are there. And if Liverpool go and get a Caicedo, hello Liverpool, they're right in the mix for me. If Arsenal go and sort out the last couple of positions that I think we're short, which is definitely in the forward positions, I think it's hello Arsenal as well, and I think we take you all the way. Having said that, Manchester City, I'm never ever going to back against Pep ever. I never did when Liverpool went. Liverpool were going to win it. Liverpool going to go and dominate. Now they've won 1. That'll be it. I said Man City I still think Man City will do it. And I'm saying again, I think Manchester City will win the league. I did a prediction thing yesterday with Sani, who said, could you do a prediction for Arsenal's window and where you think they're going to finish? And I predicted the window and I said, I think we'll finish second. And I stand by that. I still think we will, which is why I think we need to win a trophy this season. But Manchester City, could they run away with it? Yeah, you could, mate, because you're top. You're top. I do think you need a couple of players, I must say, because one of your wingers gets injured, you're going to have to play your kids. But listen, this is Manchester City we're talking about. Let's finish with this one, which is a super chat, and it's a very random one, but we'll go for it anyway. Sanji has asked, could you predict the Champions League and Premier League winners for next season? Dan, start with you, bro.
Champions League, Manchester United. Champions League, I think Madrid have got some serious ballers there now. Look at him. I'm really looking forward to. I didn't watch much La Liga last season, but I'm going to watch a lot this season. I think they're going to be big boys in that competition. Premier League, the man below me. It's got to be, hasn't it? I think. If Arsenal went out and got a Caicedo, I'd be like, hang on a minute. You know what I mean? I just don't see anybody challenging City that extent. I just don't see it. City are a different beast. City could start the season, lose 3, draw 4, win 3, and I'd still sit here and go, it's City though, different beast second half of the season. It's what they do.
I don't think you're talking anything but sense there, mate, if I'm honest. Billy, what about yourself?
I agree. I think Real Madrid are going to be the ones to be in the Champions League. Bellingham just elevates that squad to another level. For the Premier League, dismiss us at your peril. But no, I think it'll be Man City again.
Billy, you're breaking up.
It's going to be Man City again, isn't it? It's got to be, unless something ridiculous happens.
Break the record this season as well if they do it 4 in a row.
Yeah,
it will be, man. LB,
I think I've got to back us for both. We've just won the Champions League. I think there's a potential that now City have won that Champions League that we could go bang, bang, bang and win a couple. Because if you think about it, right. Last few years, realistically, City probably have been the best team in Europe. The year that we got beat in the semi-final against Real Madrid, we should have won. We should have been into the final there. We got into the final against Chelsea. Pep fucked it up with the team. We won it last year. We have been the best team in Europe over the last 3 or 4 years, and for whatever reason, whether Pep's made a mistake or the team has just crumbled, we didn't win it. We won it last year. Now we've got that off our backs.
Yeah,
I think there's a serious chance that we'll go on and win it. And the Premier League, I mean, fair fucks. If someone else beats Pep Guardiola to the Premier League, then Jesus, like fair dues. But with Erling Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne, who by the way is now not missing the start of the season, that was one slight glimmer of hope other fans had that he wouldn't be available till like mid-September, end of September. He's now back. He will be fine. He might miss the first game against Burnley, but then he'll be back. You know, again, like we should be winning both for that. Could be winning another treble.
Oh, I
love
hate
the
it.
optimism.
I
man.
hate it.
I love the optimism.
I just hate it. I hate it. I'm so jealous.
happening, man.
We've got to farm trophies while we've got Pep, because once Pep leaves, we'll obviously see a dip. We won't see a dip like United, because United fucked it when Fergie left, getting like Moyes in and Fellaini and shit. We're not that dumb. We won't do as bad as them, but we will have a dip compared to what we've got now. Why? Because we've got the best manager in the world, so obviously there's going to be a dip. So whilst you've got him, you just got to farm as many trophies as humanly possible.
Fair play, man. I'm going to agree with LB. I don't see past Man City. I think Real Madrid, if they get Mbappe this summer, which I still don't think will happen because it's just up in the air, I think Real Madrid have a great chance at Champions League with the players they've got in. But I stick by City. I think they'll win the league, and I think they'll do another Champions League because I don't see anybody in Europe at the moment. The only team that could do it if they get Kane is Bayern Munich. That's the only other team I'd say would have a great shout at the Champions League, because I think Kane elevates them. And people might laugh at that and go, oh, but Kane's not won anything. But it's not about that, is it? It's about the quality. And I think that a centre forward at Bayern Munich, if they'll win the league with Choupo-Moting up top. So they're going to do that with Harry Kane, right? And the domestic cuts probably. But Champions League, I think that puts them right in there. But I'm going to go Man City for both, man. I've got to say that I don't think there's been anything that has doubted that whatsoever. And the last super chat of the night is from Shard Light. It says, good luck in the Community Shield, Dan Potts. That'll be a good one. Looking forward to Wembley.
You playing?
Yes, Arsenal and Arsenal.
I mean, you specifically.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Playing right wing, isn't it? Right wing, you know.
Yeah.
What
What
position did you play when you were? In fact, I'll ask all three of you this. What position did you play?
I was a left back.
Look at that.
In the
LB was a
changing
left
rooms.
back. Look at that. That's class. I love that.
But now I'm 6'3", so I probably would be moved into the centre. You know,
Like a Rodri, mate. Like a Rodri.
I love Rodri. I played on the wing because I was really slim and quick and fit back then. Then when I got a little bit heavier, I went into the middle and was a bit more of a Patrick Vieira in the middle to just kick people about. So that was me, man. Billy.
I was a prolific goal scorer back in my day. I was
Nice.
a decent little goal scorer.
There we go.
Nowadays, the size of me, I'd just be that unit at the back. I'd be the Diego Carlos.
Oh, love it.
What about you, Dan?
I was a striker, mate. I was, believe it or not, before I got married, I was super skinny. I was a striker.
Oh, blame it on the missus.
Don't say that. She's there, mate. She's literally there.
That's so nice. I was skinny and I met my wife.
Mate, I'm going to be wearing it.
So nice, days. I was skinny and I met my wife.
Married life, mate.
On that note, we better go before she kills us all. Absolute pleasure having you, Dan. Top man. How can people follow you, mate?
Yeah, follow me on TikTok at United First. The YouTube, honestly, I'm struggling at the moment with time with YouTube, but TikTok is a platform where, because of my job, I'm able to just dip in, dip out, and get my bits done. So at United First on TikTok, see you all there.
Nice one, LB. Likewise.
Yeah, it's LB on Twitter and Instagram and on YouTube. Just got 3,500 subscribers now on YouTube, so now pushing to 4K, man, and City Extra for all the City content.
Nice one, LB. Make sure you go and follow these guys. Billy, likewise.
At AV Billy on Twitter and Instagram, if you want to use that as well. I don't post too much stuff on there, but I use it. Or Total Screamers podcast starting back up very soon. So I'm looking forward to that.
Nice one, man. Looking forward to it as well. As always, guys, please make sure you like this video if you haven't done so already. It would be great to ensure that we can get as many likes as we can, and more importantly, some subscribers. We're only not even a couple of hundred away from 11K, so let's make sure we can get that sorted in the next couple of days. That would be amazing as well. Until then, we'll see you next time, and up the Arsenal. Take care, people.